I'm Charlie Szoradi, and I grow superfood right at home, whether it's kale to microgreens. This Gardyn tower is one of the most advanced systems that I've seen because it automates the lighting and the watering system. I'm excited to open the Gardyn home device. This is an unboxing video, starting with just pulling the tabs out. Pretty exciting always to open new stuff, but this one is particularly exciting. Cover cardboard, and then remove me. Great. So these are some pieces that we will start to just lift up and out. That is a protected cardboard. I'm going to sort of toss those to the side. And then it looks like with these light bars, this is the second piece. We're going to set this one just down on the side. And then a kit that looks like it has some connections here with the base. I've seen those built, so I know kind of what that is. We're going to open this in a second. And then it looks like with the instructions, we're going to have those pieces there. We have our protective cardboard, so we just sort of slide that out. It looks like it's pretty well organized in terms of how it's all fit in here. Good, and this has a little extra piece that will reconnect once the assembly part starts. Same thing it looks like for this guy here. As we pull it out from the cardboard, we just want to be sensitive. There's a set of instructions on how to unpack this, and I've looked at them in advance, so I have a loose idea about the sequence. Basically, we're setting these things gently on the side. And then more of the protective packing cardboard that gets removed. This is the base, the actual tank. So that one comes out. I'm going to set this one aside right there. And then this, I believe, is the lid, the cover to the base, which has these bars in it, which hold basically the light system in place. So this piece I'm just going to set over here next to the base. Lots of parts. I got a little more parts than I had expected, but that's the reality. When you're building a system that can basically produce enough food for a family of 4 each month, it's no surprise that there's a lot of parts. And then we'll kind of time it to see how long it takes to really put this thing together. The last pieces are in here. That's a power supply, which is great for the lighting. More cardboard, and these are all just braces. So we did it. We got our parts out, and now we're going to dig into the assembly. Assembly of the columns. First thing we do is we look in any one of these slots here, and we make sure that the hose is running straight down. It's not all tangled up. We come to the bottom and we pull it. This is the connector that's basically going to tie into the pump system. The arrows are pretty straightforward because it shows you here that like that one is going to go here. If I can just hold this up, slide it in, and then rotate. So that means it's connected. And you can tell it's connected because you line up the different holes. Okay, we're going to do the same thing for these other two columns. And then we're going to check to see which one is the center column because it has a tie-off strap. Keeps it against the wall if you want to secure it. Mount and lock the lids. Okay, we're going to pop the cardboard out. Get this bad boy lifted up. You can really see what we're working with here. The underside of the Gardyn lid is very sophisticated. So this is where the water drains back down. This is where the pump pushes it back up. So there's 1, 2, 3 of those for the drainage. As it flows from the pump, there's the 3-way up to the top of the towers. When this is released down into the tank, that crimp goes away because this is dropped down, and the intake for the pump is drawing the water in there and pushing it up and into those towers. This is the fill hole, which is then used, periodically to add water, and the latches on the sides go into these spots from the base to hold it in place. Really, really nice design. It looks like there's this little extra cap piece. I want to make sure we don't lose any parts. Okay, then we go over to here. Packing tape. I'm going to peel this off. both sides. Rotate that one around. Looks like to open, these little flaps come out, again, both sides, and there's a front and a back. The back has this cutout for the power supply, and that matches this power supply. Okay, so we're going to set this one in place here. We're going to close those lids. They're not really lids, but they're latches. And then it looks like we can remove and lower the water pump, which is, this is a foam piece. Pull that out. This has a little tab there, so we're going to lift and slide, and that just drops into place. Cool. That's packing piece. We don't need that anymore. Now the lid is secured. Connect the columns. We're going to start with the center column, which has at the very end that little strap to hold it against the wall. Each of these columns has the hose that draws the water up from the tank with the pump, and that's going to connect to that little plastic cylinder there. And we're going to line it up, each column with the arrow and the arrow. So I'm going to set this camera phone down here so I can hold the pieces in place. And then we're going to lift up the column and place this right over the head of that plastic connector. We're going to rotate so this goes into the place, and then just turn it so it's secure. Done. Here is the first of the light bars. You can see in there that it's got that sort of cavity that's going to receive the point part here. This is the one on the right that has the camera at the end, and right is indicated by, if you're facing the unit, the R. So this is going to slide right over the top, and the key here is just to line it up as carefully as possible. So that what we do is we jiggle it sort of into position, and then slide it down and sort of click it into place. And we're going to do the same thing for the other one. So now that this is attached, the horizontal bar connects, just clips right in to both sides in the center. And then this little piece is what slides down from the top, and we just really jiggle it into place. And it's going to have that hole right there, which is going to keep the piece in place after we put the other horizontal struts across. Notice that these struts have that shaped piece that's going to fit right into the top of that light unit. The idea there is to jiggle that one into place, and then it comes across here and just fits right on this. Again, we're going to end up having the plug for the hole to tighten it all together at the end. Now that the blades are in place, we're going to take these little plastic plugs, just easily slide those in. Do the same so they hold the system in place, including the ones here for the blades on both sides of the unit. Checking the progress. 3 columns, done. Safety strap, yes, that is on the top. 2 LED light bars installed. Metal bar and upper blades, done. Protective caps, yes, those were put in at the top of the light bars. Water pump lowered into the tank. If you may remember, that is what we did here when we moved it across with that packing foam. Put that cap back on it. And then with the lid locks, these are the lid locks here. We just make sure they're shut. Okay, so we're going to be ready for the next step, which is really, now we're starting to grow some plants. We're going to add the water. We're going to power this thing up. That is, by the way, on the back side here, power button, and the supply for the electricity. And then we are going to put in the cubes, the Y pods, and then the cubes inside of them. Here is the box of the Y cubes, which have the different plants in them. There's the seeds to get started. If I open this up, you see that there's a little instruction note here, which has some steps. The key when you pull these out is to remove the top piece of cardboard, because that is just a protective cover for shipping, and each one is labeled. Like, for example, that is arugula. So these are ready to go to insert into the system. In each of the holes, you can take one of these Y pods, set it in, just turn it so it sets. You can see them right there. And just within a couple days, you start to see the growth come in. So really exciting to watch the tower come to life. A month of growth really starts to produce some yield. So we can see the kale that's really coming in nicely, some of the lettuce, and even for exotic things like you wouldn't expect tomatoes. Well, the flower is beginning to come, and that's going to produce the cherry tomatoes and herbs like dill.